right, we are live.
Yay, we're here.
Welcome to another Josh's Happy Hour. I'm so excited. We have a special guest. Say hi to Jamie Dana. Hi, Jamie.
Hey guys, how are you? I'm so excited to be here.
So, Jamie, one thing that I have to ask you, it's an important question. It is a little early for you, but it's 4:30 for me. I am drinking my favorite tequila right now. Is it too early? You have a drink? What do you got
I
there?
have a little kombucha, so the non-alcoholic kind. I still have to do a little bit of work after this, so yeah,
All
keeping
right.
it non-alcoholic. But hey, good enough, right? Fancy
We'll give you a pass.
glass. Yeah.
We'll give you a pass. All right. So Jamie, are you in California right now? Are you in Tustin area, or where are you at?
Yeah, so we are in Orange County, California. So yay for us. Nothing's happening out over here,
we're still locked down too. One small meaningless fact, or for everyone to know, is I grew up 5 minutes from where you are. I think we said that. This is, by the way, 2 times we were going to meet. Once I was supposed to be in Dublin, right, when you were
Yes.
speaking.
Yeah.
My flight got canceled, and then of course we were having our big show in Atlantic City, which did not happen, and
Right.
Our crowd, our people were so happy and excited to see you. So we're going to just do this to get us by, and I think we'll get going. You ready to rock?
I love it. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So I guess I marveled at your social. I mean, I've stalked you on social media. I'm sure I'm one of the 185,000 followers you have, which is pretty awesome. So I think you're an authority to ask, just given the uniqueness of where we're at today with the crisis, what should maybe the average stylist or salon owner be thinking, and maybe how that's different than normal with social media right now?
Yeah, I think one of the big things that I've seen kind of ever since this whole thing started is a lot of stylists and salon owners have been reaching out to me saying like, okay, I have no idea how to show up on Instagram right now, how to show up on social media. What should I be posting? I don't have any content, because I think so often we're used to creating content while we're there in the salon, right? Working on our clients. And so when you take that away, it might feel completely lost. And like, how do I interact with my audience? How do I show up for my clients? What should I be doing? And so this has been a question that's been on a lot of people's minds. And I think it's an important conversation to have, because one of the big things is we want to make sure that we don't just go silent on Instagram or go silent on social media. And I think in the beginning, it was okay to take maybe a little bit of a break, step back. I think for all of our mental health, we needed to kind of step back from social media. And even today, I still think there's so much going on social media. There's a lot of noise just from news sites, and we're getting inundated with everything from not businesses, but like personal stuff. So I think in the beginning, it was okay to pull back a little bit, but now that this has gone on for a little bit longer, we need to be showing up on social media, and we need to be talking to our audiences, the audiences that have chosen to follow us, that have a reason why they're there, whether there are clients that are coming to us in the salon, or maybe they're potential clients that haven't come into the salon yet, or they're just a follower and they enjoy watching our journeys. We want to make sure that we're showing up for them. So so I'd love to talk maybe a little bit about some different content ideas. I know we have a couple different questions today, but
well, let's get into that. I mean, and I don't know if you want to answer that specific to this time period or just in general. I mean, the stuff that you develop, I personally think is incredible. So maybe just give a little bit of your, drop some knowledge on us on what you think would be good content and instructive to our salons and stylists on what they should be thinking to create this kind of content, this compelling content.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the big things that I'll just kind of preface this with, and I kind of mentioned it, is don't stop posting. Don't ghost your audience. Don't just post once and then not post again. Right now is more important to be showing up for your audiences, because they want to hear from you. They want to see content. They want to see educational content, whether that is you showing how to style your hair or different products or any resources that you have for your clients and audiences. They are looking for that from you. And in fact, a lot of them come to our pages because they want a little bit of something different than just the negative news and the fake news and all the stuff that's happening. Like, they want to see from us what we're doing. And so what the biggest advice I can give is don't stop posting. And in fact, I think that this is now the time to experiment with your content. So I think so often, especially as a salon owner, I know you have a lot of salon owners that watch this, but for salon owners and stylists who are watching this, I think for the last couple years, being on Instagram specifically, it has felt like you have to only post hair or only post business related things or keep it really pretty or keep it curated, and it has to be professional and you can't really go away from that. And right now, the advice that I have been giving is now is the time to experiment. Now is the time to show a little bit more than just the business side. I think now more than ever, your audience and your clients want to see more of your personal life. They don't care about just hair anymore. And this is something that I've been talking about for a while. Like if you have followed me for a while, I talk that it's more important to not just share just hair photos or not just share, product photos. It's important to share more than that, but now more than ever. And this is a really great time to experiment and see, okay, what does my audience want to see from me? So that can be things like, instead of working on a client's hair or showing a client's photo, right? It could be showing a video tutorial of you showing how to curl your hair or showing how to trim your bangs, right? Or showing you cutting your son's hair, right? So that all of your followers can kind of see that stuff. Right. They want to see more of that personal side. And outside of just hair, they want to see what you're doing, what you're up to.
You said something, sorry to interrupt, but another video, a previous video that you did, that you want your clients or your followers to be able to see your personality, to get a sense of who you are through your social media. And if you're just posting hair, that you can't accomplish that. And when you said that, I thought about when I watch your social media stuff, I mean, I feel like I know you and we've never actually met. And it's because of the way you post, and you do get the sense of who you are through your posts. So, I mean, I sense that's what you're talking about, but I love that you said that in a previous video.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what I mean. Like, people don't just want to see hair photos or product photos or photos of your salon. While those are important, and I definitely think that they have a place on Instagram and on social media, they want to get to know you. And if you think about it, the reason why a client comes back and sits in your chair or comes back to your salon is because you make them feel something about themselves, whether that means they're entertained by you or they just love talking to you, right? Usually it's not just about good hair, like they have a relationship with you. And so how can we continue that on social media, especially right now, where people are just craving that personal connection? So yeah, I think sharing things like photos of you and your dogs, or you and your partner, you and your kids, you and just doing whatever you're doing on the weekends. I know so many stylists have been cooking and doing crafts and doing fun little things and sharing about it.
Showing all their amazing cooking. And
right? The sourdough bread trend is like all out there right now. But as a client, like, following my stylist on Instagram, right? Like, I would want to see that she's creating bread, because that's something that we would talk about when I'm in her chair, right? So I think as a salon owner, there's ways to do this. As a stylist, there's absolutely ways to do that. As a stylist, for sure, there's easier ways to do it. You can share it on your stories, on your page, or whatever. But even as a salon owner, you could even do, and I've seen some salon owners do this, which I think is just so fun, where they talked to all of their stylists and they said, okay, we're going to post like these 3 topics or 4 topics or whatever. And if you fit into one of those topics, send us a photo of you doing whatever. So then they had like all their stylists who had dogs, and it was like a swipe over post of all the stylists with them and their dog, right? Or then the stylists who had kids and their families, or the stylists who were cooking, right? Or whatever it was. And it was just a really fun way for the audience to be able to be like, oh my gosh, like, my stylist Jenny is there with her dog, and then I don't know Carl that works across from Jenny, but I love seeing his photo, right? So there's just a fun way to incorporate that, and now's the time to experiment. And who knows, you might find that your audience actually likes that stuff even more than hair photos, and it might be something that you can incorporate post COVID.
Cool. Well, and I think I've heard you say once before too that I love this quote. So if I misquote you, I apologize. But you said that the industry feels heavy right now. And I thought that was such a good metaphor or description. And so doing stuff like this would be the opposite of that, because I think there's a lot of just heavy stuff, as you say, going around right now.
Yeah. And I think too, one thing I want to mention is a lot of times as beauty professionals or stylists or, hair salons, we tend to follow only people in our industry. So the content that we're consuming all the time is stuff that's happening in our industry. And what we forget is our clients aren't really following a ton of other hairstylists or salons. They maybe are following maybe another salon, but like chances are they're just following you. And so we have to remember that like the content that we're consuming, and like I got kind of a question the other day. It was, well, I don't want to just post another curling tutorial video because everyone else is doing that. And I'm like, no one else is doing that. Only you're seeing that because you're seeing it from the other hairstylists. But your audience, your clients want to see it from you. And in fact, you're probably the only one sharing that content, right? Same thing with salon policies. I've seen so many salons sharing their policies and sharing what they're doing, which is amazing. But we have to remember that our clients aren't seeing it from everybody else. And so if you just share your salon policies or your reopening procedures or whatever that might look like, if you only share it once, chances are your audience is going to miss it. So you want to be sharing it more than once because they're probably not going to see it. And we think that we're being annoying or bombarding them, but in reality, they just aren't seeing it as much. So we just have to keep that in mind, that like who our clients follow and our audience follows is dramatically different than what we see all the time.
Yeah, that's a great point. One sort of just thing I wanted to crowbar in, because you talked about salon policies. As a result of who I follow, I'm seeing thousands of them.
Totally.
And I've seen two different varieties. The one comes across like shock and awe, like hitting people over the head with and it's very, I like the word you use, it's very heavy. Mm-hmm. And I feel like then I've seen other ones written in this really just diplomatic, customer service oriented, hey, we're caring for you in our employee way. So I just wanted to say there's probably a way to communicate your new policies in a way that's very caring and not like beating people over the head with it. But that's
no, and it's true. And I think sometimes we might not realize the way that we're coming off, especially in the way that we write. So to that point, like before, especially for salon owners, because I think salon owners are going to be the ones, or salon managers are the ones that are sharing that for the salon. So before you maybe even post it, maybe bounce it off a couple people, maybe a couple of your stylists that you trust or, have great interest, or a partner or a friend, bounce it off of them and say like, hey, does this sound diplomatic, right? Does this sound kind? Does this sound in a loving way? Or is this coming across like, these are our new policies and this is what we have to do, right? How does it read as a client is very important. So yeah, I have seen it done well and I haven't seen it done well. And I'm like, so thanks for bringing that up.
Yep. So one other kind of content related question. This is actually my sister asked me to ask you this.
Okay.
So what tools do you use to improve your content, whether that's other apps or just whatever it might be? Any tips you want to give to people that are just trying to up their content game a little bit?
Yeah. So I technically focus on Instagram. Like Facebook, I don't focus on as much because more so my dream clients aren't on Facebook. So I'm definitely more of the Instagram expert. So I'll speak from an Instagram perspective. However, a lot of what I'm sharing you could use for Facebook too. But one of the apps that I use for Instagram specifically is called the Plan app, and it's PLANN. There's another app called Preview that's really good. There's another one called Planoly. I just personally like Plan and I've used it for a long time. But basically what it is it helps you plan out your Instagram content. So one of the things I know that holds people back from posting is they're like, oh shoot, I posted and then I like completely forgot to post and it's been 5 days, right? Or I don't know what to post next. I don't know what's gonna look good, or they're concerned with how it's gonna flow, right? So the Plan app, you can literally take your content, you take photos and you put it in, and it has basically your Instagram grid, and you can move them around to see what looks best. So you don't have like two hair photos right next to each other that are exactly the same, right? You might spread them out a little bit, or maybe you do a hair photo and then a photo of you, and then another hair photo and a photo of you and your dog, and then a salon photo, right? So you can kind of spread out your content so it looks more visually appealing. But it's also super helpful to stay consistent, because if you kind of plan ahead of time, then oh, I haven't posted in a while, like it's time to post again, and here's what I'm going to post. So it saves you time, it helps you be more strategic. And one of the cool things is, built into the app, there is a little reminder button. So let's say I plan out my post for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and I'm like, okay, I don't want to forget. I can set a little reminder on that app, and then it'll just send me a notification at 8 a.m., like time to post. And so that helps me a lot. And then as far as like editing, one of the big questions I get is, what is your favorite photo editor and what is your favorite video editor? Because a lot of people are starting to use video now. So my favorite photo editor that I think is super easy to use is called Visco Cam. So it's VSCO Cam.
Wait, my daughter was a Visco girl for Halloween. Is that the same thing?
That's what they're talking about. Yes.
That's what it
That's
is?
where it came
I never
from.
knew what it was.
Yeah, Visco Cam is an editing app. Visco Cam is like the OG editing app. It's been around for a while. So yeah, basically it has filters built into it, super easy editing. And if you ever need help with editing, you can go to YouTube. There's tons of different tutorials on there. That's actually where Visco came from, Visco Girl or whatever came from. But yeah, Visco Cam is the app. And then another one for editing videos is InShot, InShot. And it's a free app. Both of them are free. They have upgrades that you can do if you want to buy more filters in Visco Cam or extra features in InShot. But either way, you don't need that. And InShot's, again, pretty easy to use. And if you ever have any questions, again, usually you can find some great tutorials on YouTube to kind of learn the apps and just kind of get familiar with them. So those would be my top 3 tools that I use for Instagram for sure.
Thank you for that. And Erica, my sister, I'm sure, thanks.
She'll be happy. I love it.
All right. So I want to shift gears a little bit. We've got about 12 minutes left. I try to keep these to 30 minutes, about enough time to drink one drink. Or
I love it.
Some people too. I want to, so you have a tremendous amount of followers. You were, I'm assuming, built most of those followers while you were still behind the chair. What tips do you have for, and maybe that's not the end all be all is in terms of like scorecarding what's important, but how do you develop that kind of following? Like if I'm just sort of getting started or I'm just not anywhere near that, like how did you do that? Maybe that's a silly question, but that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I think it's a question that's on everyone's mind, right? Like they see somebody with a lot of followers and they're like, okay, how did you get that many followers? Like that's like, it's almost like when you hear somebody who's a millionaire, you're like, wait, how did you do it? How did you get there? And the thing that I say with this is I have been building my Instagram following since 2014. 2014. Do we say that? I don't know. 2014. So it's been 6 years that I've been growing it. And from 2014 to like 2015, I wasn't very strategic with it. I was just kind of posting here and there. I was just kind of, trying to learn the app, trying to, whatever. And I had like a personal Instagram before that, like in, 2013 and all that. But I really started to get strategic in 2015 and 2016. And so what I did was I learned and invested time in learning how to use the app and learning how the algorithm worked. And I don't even know if there was quite the algorithm at that time, but just learning what kind of content my audience liked and who I was speaking to and what my brand was and all of those things. And that's when I started to actually see strategic growth. And so there's never a quick answer to be like, I gained my followers this way. This is how you can do it too. And it's never a 1-sentence answer. To me, it's something that just takes time. But the biggest thing is you have to understand and have a strategy and plan for your Instagram, and you have to be intentional with it. So that's what I do is I teach hairstylists how to be strategic with their Instagram. And one of the first questions that I ask anybody who comes to me and say, I just want to get more followers. How do I get more followers? The first question that I give back to them is why? Why do you want to get more followers? What's so important about more followers? What is your goal with Instagram? And a lot of times they'll tell me, well, my goal is to get more clients. And so in order to get more clients, I need more followers. And I think we probably all have thought that at one point. Maybe you still think that, right? Maybe you're like, well, yeah, obviously if I had 10,000 followers, I'd have more clients, duh. And it makes sense in our mind. But in reality, it's not true. And so for those stylists who are looking to grow their business behind the chair, for salon owners who are looking to get more clients to come to the salon, maybe have stylists come work at the salon, if your goal is to grow your business, you don't necessarily have to have a big follower count. And so I'll kind of say this, that in 2015, I started to get more strategic. I started to get intentional. My follower count started to grow. And to be honest, once I hit around 15,000 followers, which to a lot of people, that seems like a lot, but in comparison to where I'm at now, 15,000 followers, I was like, cool, I'm good. I made it. And at the time, 15,000 was a little bit more than it is now. Like, things have changed, but I was like, awesome. And I actually stopped trying to grow my following. And instead, I poured into the followers who were there for me. And because I got really targeted with who I was speaking to and the content I was creating and serving the people who were there, who said, yes, I want to follow you, my following actually grew more because I was pouring into the people who were there. So to be honest, I don't really try to grow my following anymore. It just happens. And it sounds like such a first world problem, right? It just happens. But that's truly what happened. And so kind of to anybody who's watching this, I know that's kind of a long answer. My big thing for you is, why do you want to grow your following? And if you think it's because you want to have more clients or you want to grow your business, you don't necessarily have to do that.
So,
and in fact, I know stylists who have hundreds of thousands of followers and their business is terrible behind the scenes.
Right. They can't get anyone in the chair. So
No.
let's just go into the assumption that most people out here watching want to just build their book and build their salon, and it's about getting feet, butts in the chair. So what would be the suggestion there? What should they, that other than what we've already talked about, I guess.
Yeah. So it's definitely a longer conversation than just 5 more minutes. But basically, the biggest thing that I always say is you need to know exactly who you're speaking to. And so you probably have heard the term target market or avatar, client avatar, or ideal client. And maybe you've even done an exercise where you came up with your target market, right? Like, we're marketing to women ages 20 to 40 who live in our area. And I like to take it a step deeper. And so instead of having my students create a target market, I have them actually come up with a dream client so that they're speaking specifically to one person. And this is what has been a game changer, because when you start to speak towards one person, when that type of person lands on your Instagram page and the way that you create your content, the way your bio is set up and the way your photos look, and the way your Instagram highlights are laid out, like, there's so many things that go into it. But when that person lands on your page, they're like, this is a person for me. And they click the follow button. Right. And then they start to get to know you. They start to like you. And overall, they become, they trust you and turn into a client. So it's a little bit more, like I said, a little bit more complicated than that. But that's kind of the overarching strategy, I guess, to it, is learning exactly who you're speaking to.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question, and I'm going to make a disclaimer that this might show my ignorance on social media. I'm a relative rookie. However, so I know you've talked about hashtagging a lot. So, based on just sort of relative to what we were just talking about, where do you see that play a role in just sort of your posting, and just talk about hashtags for a second?
Yeah, I think hashtags are important. However, I don't place as much weight on them as I used to. And the reason why I say that is they are very important, and there definitely is a strategy behind it. But there's also so much more that goes into success on Instagram than just hashtags. And so 5 years ago, that was a huge hot topic, was hashtags, because it was one of the ways. I'm
outdated by asking it. I knew that was going to happen.
It's all good. It's all good. And it actually is a big question that a lot of people ask, of like, okay, well, what about hashtags? And so, 5 years ago, when that was kind of one of the only ways to get people to find your page, hashtags were big. And I still do think, like I said, there still is a strategy for hashtags, but there's so much more that goes into your Instagram in general. What kind of photos are you posting? Your captions, types of time of day you're posting, what kind of content you're creating, whether it's a video or a photo or a carousel post or whatever. There's a lot of different things that go into it. But I actually do have a free hashtag workbook. So is that okay if I share?
Yeah, no, sure. Well, is this part of Hotgram? Because I was going to give you a moment to talk about that. So
Hotgram is an online program that I have, but this is just a free hashtag workbook. And I just want to share it because I'm sure there's somebody watching that's like, hey, wait, I need to learn about hashtags. So if you go to jamiedana.com/hashtag workbook, it's a free workbook. It's like, I think 10 pages or something. You can fill it out. It shows you how to research hashtags, and it gives you the whole strategy on hashtags there for free. So you can go check that out for those of you who are wondering. Yeah.
Cool. Well, you know what? That alone, you answered the question. Go to that website and you'll get all your answers. Cool.
There you go. Yeah.
So, all right, we have about 3 minutes left. Is there any common, and maybe we talked on some of these already, but common mistakes that you see stylists and salon owners making that you think, it's worth saying, hey, listen, we got to stop doing this? Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, so I kind of touched on it a little bit, but I can go into it a little bit more. Basically, the biggest thing that I see is stylists and especially salon owners not sharing their personality behind the page. So stylists, I know it kind of can feel intimidating to share a selfie or to share a photo of yourself or to talk to your camera, do an Instagram stories, talking to your camera, right? That can feel intimidating. But think about the people that you follow and think about the people that you feel the most connected with. I know, Josh, you were saying that you feel like you already know me because of my Instagram, right? And for anybody who has followed me or hasn't followed me, you can go check out my page. But I talk a lot to the camera. I show a lot of photos of myself. And it's not because I'm conceited. It's not because I'm a narcissist. It's because I want to connect with my audience. And that's a great way for me to do it. So in my captions, I write very as if I was writing to one person. In my stories, I try to talk to them as if I was FaceTiming my friend. In my photos.
Sorry for interrupting, but I saw one where you were going to do a show. You were flying somewhere to do a show.
Yeah.
And you posted a video in the airport, like you were getting on the plane to go down there.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool because, if it was me, I probably would have posted the clip from the stage. Like I'm a robot. Hey, here's me on stage, whatever. I would never have thought to have posted me traveling down. I got to see you. You were literally with your luggage and the whole thing, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, and I'll even do goofy stuff on my stories now because I understand who my audience is, right? So I kind of have an idea of what they like, and I just want to share my personality with them because that's what helps people fall in love with me. And I truly do think that is what has helped me not even just have a higher follower account, but have a deeper relationship with my audience. And so kind of to wrap this whole thing up is focus on the people who are following you, focus on the people who have said, yes, I want to follow, I want to learn more, and really deepen that relationship with them. Because if you can deepen your relationship with the people who have said yes, those are the people that will turn into clients, that will turn into customers, and will be your biggest fans. And it's true. And it truly does work. So yeah.
And, it's interesting. I think the common thinking is to separate and have your personal page and your work page. And probably what's a byproduct of that is a lot of people are not showing any of that personality or personal stuff on their work page because they're just putting it on their personal page. So maybe, so that's a good lesson. I appreciate that.
Yeah, totally. I'm hope this was helpful for everyone that was watching, for sure.
So I think we're about to say goodbye. Anything I didn't ask you that you feel like you want to get out, like any tips or anything in general?
Honestly, I think we covered it. Like I said, right now in this time, especially in these moments, now is the time to show up for your audience. So show up for them, love on them, ask them. If you're wondering, what should I be posting? Ask your audience, what do you want to see more of? And don't just ask them like, hey, what do you want to see more of? Because most people won't answer that. They won't know what to answer, but give them options. So I would do this in a post, say like, hey, what do you want to see more of? Do you want to see a hair curling tutorial? Do you want to see, nighttime hairstyles that I sleep on my hair, right? Do you want to see bang trims, whatever? You can come up with your own content, but ask your audience and they will tell you what they want to see. And this is one of my biggest secrets. I rarely come up with my own content. It's usually me asking my audience what they want to see, and that's how I create my content. So, little sneak peek, and that helps too because sorry, my alarm's going off. That helps me know that they actually wanted to see it. So that's a big one.
Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, Jamie, I can't wait for the opportunity to meet you in person. We have you on a stage somewhere.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon. I appreciate what you're doing to help stylists and saloners across the country. And I guess we'll say cheers.
Yes, cheers. Absolutely.
Cheers. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.